Hey, what's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here. It is time for the 2014 album review of the new Cannibal Corpse album entitled A Skeletal Domain. Now, I have got a cold once again, so I do apologize. This is an album that I have been quite anticipated for because, this is just a band that simply does not need an introduction at all when it comes to the most popular and best-selling band of the death metal genre. And the guys have been around since the late 1980s, and from the previous era with Chris Barnes, the band's music was from a really thrashy to a much more complex and intriguingly distinctive, brutal sound. And from the George Corpse Grinder Fisher era till now, the band have gone much more different with the sound and songwriting material, which went from some simplistic guitarists with some great, strong, powerful vocals from George, and from the other previous releases a few years ago, the band went to a really more interesting and technical side on their music. So this is their 13th studio album, and the follow-up to that is Torture, which came out in the year of 2012, and I have been a massive fan of these guys for a long time. I never used to like them, but I got intrigued into their discography now, and my own personal favourites from this band are Tomb of the Mutilated and Bloodthirst, and they've been one of my favourite albums in metal of all time, period. So this is just another one of these Cannibal Corpse albums where the band can just go really aggressive with some really distinctive and powerful instrumentation and some great solid production. The artwork of this album is nothing like the more morbidly disgusting and gross out violent album covers like the band's previous releases. Well, even though Kill and Evisceration Plague are much more simple, but with the artwork on this album, it does have a very good, interestingly dark look. The production of this album is really, really good as well, and it does have a lot of grit and power on the instruments. I mean, the guitar sound is just absolutely stunning, and I always loved how heavy the distortion can really be when the band can create their own material, but to include some sound that really defines something more intriguing, bringing a lot of power. The drums sound is very good as well, with triggered bass drums and the really fresh and great sound of the cymbals. The bass guitar sound on here does have a great tone to it, like back at their previous album Torture. That bass guitar sound is absolutely gritty and really well done. So a lot of the songs on this album do have just the amount of the typical same sound that you would expect from Cannibal Corpse. I mean, it's not really a problem at all, because that's what the fans of this band love to hear when it comes to the whole idea of songwriting and just to make a song stand out. The guitar playing in this album is very, very good, and there's been a lot of technicality once again, and it just brings back some some of the previous songs from previous albums that really reminds me, of different songs. The guitar solos on here are just crazily immense, and it's just all over the place, but you know, it's just really spot on with a lot of the uses of the whammy bar with these solos that just sound monstrous to bring the aggression more crazier. The drumming on this album is top notch as well. You know, Paul Mazurkiewicz, easily, in my opinion, my favourite member from this band. You know, a lot of people would prefer George Corpsegrinder Fisher or you know, the other guys, Alex Webster, of course, you cannot forget him, but Paul Mazurkiewicz had always been my favourite member in the band, and I do love it how he can really get the beats right in time with the correct speed. His blast beats are just as strong, you know, since he joined the band, and his own scales and drums. It's just so distinctive, and that's just one of the most iconic things about this band. Just some intriguing drum sounds and drum fills and beats with some guitar riffs that a lot of the metalheads know from the band's most popular songs, and just how the songs go. They can just know anything about these songs, you know, just the way they would go, and it's just so ironic that this band is just the most influential band of the genre besides the other death metal bands in the genre. George's vocals are still really good to this day, and I do love how he can use his own power from his really low and fantastic style of his voice, and you know, he's just a beast of a vocalist. And you know, Alex Webster's bass playing never lets me down at all. I mean, he's just one of the best things about the band as well. I mean, his own skills on the bass guitar just stands out flawlessly well, and it just makes the sound more distinctive besides the other guys in the band. So a lot of the songs do bring a lot of very quick and aggressive paces, you know, various different tempo changes, and some really catchy songs on here as well. So, you know, overall, the Skeletal Domain is definitely a very good release from Cannibal Corpse once again, and let me know what you guys think of this album in the comments below. And yeah, that's just pretty much all I've got to say about Cannibal Corpse's new album, A Skeletal Domain. Now, I'm going to give this album a solid 9 out of 10. A lot of the songs on here are very good stuff as well. You know, I talked about the production, that it is solid, great stuff, and just the other things I've said in this review. So, that's really all I've got to say. So, thank you guys for watching, and keep it metal.